What is up, friends? My name is Laura. If you've never visited my YouTube channel before, welcome. As an avid hiker myself, I understand there are hiking terms out there that I use, but I didn't always use. In fact, some of the time I'd be like, I might want to go into my notes quickly, take this down. Maybe I'm gonna have to use this. Should I say this to someone else to make myself sound more legit? Do not worry, I have you covered. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the top hiking terms that people use while hiking. Some of these you might be like, is that a different language? And some of you might be like, that totally makes sense. So I'm gonna try to make this very short and sweet so you can know them, go out there and look like a pro yourself. The first one is going to be switchbacks. When I first started hiking, do you know what I used to call these? Zigzags. Zigzags up a mountain, because I would be going and I might be like, I've just been going there. I can keep seeing it. All I'm seeing is sometimes I would read reviews and they also would be like, oh man, I just kept going back and forth. You can see that you're gaining elevation, but man, that took a while. These are called switchbacks. When you are going back and forth but gaining elevation, whether you're going up or down, those are going to be switchbacks. Some of them are very, very short, especially if they're a lot steeper. It's just an easier way so that you're not just going straight at a mountain, kind of be going zigzag. So some of the times when you're switchbacking, you will kind of go and you might just take a left, then maybe 15 steps are right. Some might be a lot longer. Maybe that's because you have to actually go around a large rock, a boulder that you kind of have to go around and you can't actually like face it head on. Some of them you might find, especially if this is more a moderate hike, you will be like, oh my gosh, that's not a ton of elevation, but it's a lot of mileage. A lot of times that's because there are very long switchbacks. One of the reasons I also like switchbacks is when I'm on my way down, that means a lot less descent than just going boom, 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 and that will save my knees in that day, but also for years to come. So number one is a switchback. The second hiking term is called a widowmaker. This, I don't know. I actually myself am a widow, so I slightly take offense to this, but it does make sense. It's just a hiking term. But what this widowmaker is basically, it's probably something that you don't want to sleep under. So this is actually more of a backpacking term, but also I do bring this into hiking in terms of if you want to like set up a picnic lunch somewhere, you're kind of down by a stream and you just want to hang out, maybe put like a little blanket down. So this basically is a tree that part of it might have died off and it might like just drop at any time, which whether the tree is really high up or it's a larger tree could either cause serious damage or probably for you to get seriously injured and maybe pass away. So that is why this is called a widowmaker. So definitely if you're pitching a tent, maybe look around you. You probably don't want to be under too many trees, especially if it gets windy. Also keep wind in mind if you're looking for widowmakers. But in terms of if you're actually just hiking and you're out maybe in the forest and you're just looking for a bit of a break or whatever to have lunch for a little bit, look for these widowmakers and make sure to keep them in mind and don't just sit under them. The next hiking term is actually called a scramble. A scramble is typically when it's actually quite a bit of loose rock. That can be a little bit more gravelly, but also some larger rocks that kind of, especially if you're going to put your foot down, you might slide a little bit into it. So it's a lot of the sliding motion that can be on the way up or the way down. So a lot of people will refer to this as doing a scramble. A lot of times when you are doing a scramble, you will probably need to kind of grab your hands and use your hands a little bit, and this is where sometimes gloves will come into place so that you kind of can grab onto those rocks and either kind of go down on all fours on your back like a crab, or when you're on your way up, kind of just grab 3 points of contact every single time while going uphill. If you know me and you've ever hiked with me, scrambles, fun fact, are my least favorite thing to do. I don't for some reason trust rock. I for some reason have no problem going on a glacier. Ice, no problem. Scrambles, I just don't know. Am I gonna go down 1 inch? Am I going down a foot? I never really know. So a scramble is definitely something that I hear all the time, but not something that I like. If you are watching this YouTube video, which you obviously are, you probably have seen some through hikers. A through hiker is going basically from A to B, and for the most part, they are long-term hikers. Whether that means kind of 5 days, but for the most part, a lot of through hikers can mean the PCT, which is the Pacific Crest Trail, and the AT, which is the Appalachian Trail. So if you are on YouTube or you're kind of, I really want to get away, I want to see the United States, I want to do it all on foot, the PCT and the AT are words that you will see, especially in the through hiking community, that you might want to know. Have you heard of any of these so far? Or have you heard of all of them? Let me know in the comments below. And just for your support, because I really do appreciate it, if you ever like my video, it is the smallest form of support that you can do for me, and I do appreciate it, and completely free, just supporting me and my channel. Okay, so the next one is actually going to be the last one, but it's broken down into a few parts. And that's because there are different classes. So there's different classes for what you're actually going to do. Don't worry, don't panic, don't exit out. I'm gonna get into this. So actually when I started hiking a little bit more, doing a little bit more scrambles or any kind of larger hikes, I would see these, this is a class 2 or this is a class 3. And those really honestly confuse me a bit. No idea what that is. So this is one of those terms that actually might be really beneficial for you to fully understand. I'm basically just going to go over the basics of each of these, and that might help you when you actually are looking for trails to summit or trails to go on, and they have these words if that's something that you feel comfortable with, especially if you're going by yourself for the first time. So class 4 actually is considered more of a mountaineering route. Not necessarily, but for the most part, if you are seeing a class 4, especially a class 4 scramble, that might mean that you for sure need to go on all fours at some parts. It's a little bit, like I said, more mountaineering, but you're probably going to need to have a rope, whether that means to strap yourself in just to be able to go over a rope and pull yourself up. So this is going to be a little bit definitely more difficult, not super technical, but you will have to have a rope with you, and you need to know that it won't just be a walk in the park. Class 3 or class 3 scramble is probably actually my favorite a lot of the time, and this is more when you are coming up, but you're probably going to use your hands at some point. And that doesn't mean, oh, I just kind of like maybe fell over here. It means you have to use your hands. So sometimes I'll see people kind of throwing out this word, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a class 3. A class 3 actually means that you will need to use your hands along the way. So there's been a few times when I'm hiking and it's kind of like, okay, I could for sure get through that like kind of little area there. I'm just gonna have to grab here, pull myself up. That was a quick class 3 move that I did while I hiked. So some of those might, and probably if you're seeing class 3, have to happen during your hike to actually reach that final destination or that summit. The final one is a class 2 or class 2 scramble. This one actually probably, I said scramble's my least favorite. I also would kind of just say this might be a little bit my least favorite because a lot of times when I'm going out into nature, I just want to hike. I just want to get out there, enjoy it, have some great exercise. I know a lot of people aren't actually like this, so this is where route finding comes in. So a lot of like bushwhacking, which might be another term. So you're not necessarily seeing a trail in front of you. You might need to navigate to find that trail, or it's not, you know, maybe you're on all trails and you're like, oh, it says like the trail's hard to find after 3 miles or something like that. That's going to be more of a class 2. So keep that in mind, especially if you're going by yourself or you're probably not going to have reception in a lot of places, especially if there's high up mountains around you. So keep that in mind if you do see the words class 2 scramble at all. I hope that this quick video did help you in your lingo to learn the hiking language. It might help you if someone's giving you advice and if they're on their way down and say, oh, it's great, there is going to be a class 3 scramble, just a heads up. Now you know what to expect. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you very soon for another video. Keep living life. Bye.